Hi, I'm Cliff, N4CCB, and today I'm making a video about the Sodabeams linked dipole. Now, this is one of my two go-to antennas, the other being the vertical that I can deploy anywhere that I made a video about last week. So I'm following up with this one. Now, I'm real excited about this antenna. I've had it for a while, but it's so cleverly engineered and it's so easy to deploy, easy to pack back up again. You really need to buy one of these. Now, I have no relationship with the Sodabeams company. They're a UK company. I've bought a number of their things, and I like the mission that they have to produce items that are appealing to people who are working summits on the air, SOTA, or QRP portable. But I love this antenna, and I'm just going to jump into it. First of all, it comes in a pouch. The entire system is in this pouch. Now that includes the coax. It includes string or rope. It includes tent stakes to guide the thing down. And in my case, I've added something else into the bag, which is the way I deploy my wire antennas. So I'm going to start with that first. So it does all pack down into this very small pouch. And there is room enough in there to add a few things of your own if you want. And one thing that I always have with me that easily fits in here is this golf ball with a screw eye attached to it. Now you can see this. It's just a standard golf ball. It's got a little snap on there with fishing line that allows me to take this golf ball off of the line and put my antenna on it so that I can hoist it up. But the way I use this is I just lay the golf ball on the ground at the point where I'm going to toss it up into a tree. And then I just start letting out fishing line, and I do it in a pattern, kind of going, making a big series of S curves so that the line doesn't get all tangled up. And when I've let out enough line that I think it's going to be able to clear the tree branch, I take the golf ball and I toss it up over a tree limb. And when I do, the golf ball falls to earth. I walk over to it and I unsnap the golf ball, take that off, and then I put my antenna rope on the snap. Now, I can just haul the antenna up by the fishing line if it's a lightweight antenna. Otherwise, I can tie on some heavier rope and pull that back over the tree limb, tie the antenna to that, and then pull it up. But this does fit inside the pouch, and I use it all the time. It's so easy and compact, and it works great. Okay, enough of that. What you've been waiting for, the Sodabeams antenna. Now, this is a linked dipole, which means it's got more than one segment of wire. A normal dipole will just have a wire that's cut in a half wavelength and then cut in two so that each half of the antenna is a quarter wavelength on whatever band you're trying to work. What they've done here is they've taken that, in this case, 20-meter wire, and then they've made it so that they can link it to another longer wire, which when added together is a 40-meter dipole. So you get 20 meters if you don't have the wires connected, and 40 meters if you do. So notice how it's very compact. It's got 3 of those wire winders that you saw a minute ago. They're held in place with this piece of Velcro so they don't just go tumbling out all over the place. So I'm going to take this off. And you know what? Stop. I need to show you how cool this pouch is. You can't see that from here. Maybe you can see it inside this camera. But there's a little pocket that's actually been sewn into the pouch. And the pocket holds 3 aluminum antenna stakes. Now, by having them in its own little pocket, they get stopped on the round part. They can't go all the way through to puncture the bag. How clever is that? So we'll come back to what these are for in just a minute. But here's the antenna. It consists of 2 legs of the dipole and then a center section. Now, the 2 legs are even and equal, so there's no point in showing both of those. So I'm just going to show one. So here's a wire winder. It's got a little stretchy bungee cord here that's holding everything together. So I'm just going to flip that away. And to deploy this, all I have to do is kind of hold my finger on the edge, on the back side of this. And as I walk away, it does this. It just sort of unfurls by itself. You don't really have to use any effort to take it off this winder. So we keep going until we reach this insulator. Now, all of the wire that I've wound off so far is a quarter wavelength on 20 meters, about 16.5 feet. So what you got here then is this little plastic insulator. I'll show it here where this camera can see it better. It's just a little piece of plastic. And if you join these two alligator clips together, now this first segment of wire is electrically joined to the second. And so the wire is extended. And as I keep going and walking across the field with this wire, we eventually exhaust all of the wire from the second segment, the part that gives us the 40 meters. And now we reach a point where normally an antenna like this would have some kind of insulator. Well, because it's got this high visibility rope already kind of built into it, they didn't bother with insulator. They just tied them very securely, and I'll show this in the camera. They have it tied very securely where it won't come apart, and the rope itself, works as the insulator. So let's keep going. We keep taking this off the rope, off the reel here, and when we get to the point where we're running out of the string, you'll see a loop. Now, this loop is used with a tent stake. So if I deploy this as an inverted V, for example, where the center is elevated and then the two legs are coming down at angles, I just take my tent stake, put it through the loop, and push this into the ground. And that keeps the line taut from the apex of the antenna through the leg of the inverted V. Now, notice how the rope is actually tied to the winder. So you can't lose this. There's nothing to lose. And it's already there so that when you are finished, you can easily just grab it and then just start winding it back in figure eight. By having it wound in a figure eight, the line crisscrosses over each other so it can't get tangled. So it makes it super easy to deploy the next time without having a big rat's nest of wires. So that's really all there is to deploying this thing as far as the legs go. So I'm going to go ahead and just wrap this up and put the bungee back on it to keep it nice and neat, because I'm just kind of like that. So I'll secure it with the bungee, and now that leg is done. Okay, so what's left is the center section. Now the center of this is made to be very lightweight and compact. It has the coax already built in, and what they've done, I'll show this on the camera over here. They've taken the coax and they've actually soldered that directly to the legs of the dipole, and then they used hot glue to waterproof it. So the coax goes through here, it bends around a couple of times for strain relief, it attaches to the wires and it gets hot glued, so now it's waterproof. And so I'm going to go ahead and start loosening this section and taking out the coax. Now this is 10 meters, remember a UK company, so meters, 10 meters of RG174 coax. Now some of you guys might be saying, oh, RG174, it's a lossy coax. Well, okay, it's not very lossy. It's got a little more loss to it than thicker coax, which would be heavier and more bulky. But at 20 meters, HF, 14 megahertz, the loss of this for 100 feet is 4 dB. It's right about a half an S unit, a little bit more than half an S unit. But that's for 100 feet. I've only got about 33 feet here, so it's negligible. At the HF frequencies that we work outside, with our QRP rigs, the person on the other end of the conversation would not be able to hear the attenuation that's caused by 33 feet of this. So it's just not something you have to worry about. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish wrapping this out. And what you're going to see is that also on this same wire winder is another piece of rope. Now, why do they need 3 pieces of rope? Well, this third piece can be used to hoist the antenna up. In other words, you could throw a line like fishing line over the tree limb, tie it to the yellow piece of rope, and then bring that back down so the yellow piece of rope goes up and over the tree limb and comes back down, and you can tie it to a tree or whatever you want to do. Now, I don't do that because my little golf ball thing, I just attach my snap swivel to the center, and it's light enough where I can just, hoist up the center of the antenna with fishing line. So I don't even bother unsnapping or untangling the yellow wire from the thing. I just, clamp this back over here. And when I raise the antenna, I just raise the center insulator and this yellow thing. It looks kind of funny, but I don't care. So it's that easy. Now, another use for this third yellow piece of wire, say we're doing this as an inverted V, where we just have one support to hoist up the center, and we've got the 2 legs coming down in the diagonal lines here. If I have a fiberglass mast, a telescopic fiberglass mast, I can use that in the field and deploy this without any kind of base plate or anything by using this third string as a backstay. So imagine that we've got the 2 ends staked off in the ground, and then we raise the center section up on a telescopic pole. Well, it's going to fall forward or backward, right? It's anchored on the sides. It's going to fall one way. Well, if we go ahead and let the pole fall a little bit, and then take this third string from the top and put it in the ground with a tent stake, now we're keeping the thing from falling left or right because of the 2 legs that are anchored, and we're keeping it from falling down because we've used this in the back. So by doing that, you can use this in the field with a mast, or you can just hoist it up like I do. And of course, you could deploy this as a flat top, with 2 pieces of rope, with the thing horizontal, both legs horizontal, or you could do it as a sloper, where you hoist up one end of it and just have it running diagonally down to the other side. But I can't say enough good about this. It's so simple to deploy. It's so easy to pack back up again and put back in the pouch and walk away. With the wire winders, you never have to worry about a tangled mess of cables. And it's got the coax, already built in. And by the way, there's a BNC here at the end. My Elecraft radios have a BNC connector on them. And I have some adapters that will convert the BNC into an SO239. So by putting the adapter in here, I get a female coax connector, an SO239, and I can just plug in a longer piece of coax if I want to hoist this up higher, or if I want to put my radio farther away from the antenna than being kind of under it. So with an adapter, you can just use normal coax with this, no problem. I guess that's really all I need to tell you about this antenna, but do consider getting one because it makes life so much easier in the field. It's such a nice compact package, tangle-free, worry-free. It works great, and you should go to the Sodabeams website. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you the URL. It's sodabeams.com, and if you go there, it'll redirect you to the UK site. But I think that's it. Try it out, and I think you'll like it a lot. So thanks for watching. See ya.